in Louisville today with the legendary Young Bleed. Thanks for being with me
Oh
today.
man, I appreciate you coming through and seeing me, man.
No
Yeah, man.
doubt. Can you
Absolutely.
take us back to where you're born and raised?
Oh man, born and raised Earl K. Long Hospital. You know what I mean? For Earl K. Long, people don't know who that might be. Do your history. But I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, man, home of the Kingfish, Huey P. Long, you know what I mean? Well, Huey P. Newton got his name from for his Louisiana origin. But yeah, I'm born and raised Baton Rouge, south side of Baton Rouge in the bottom, you know, more recent today. Shouts out to my little cousin, little Boosie, man. We off the same block, same hood, man, for reference, you know what I mean?
What kind of obstacles did you have to endure growing up in Louisiana?
Oh man, I say born in it, sworn in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was looking at a Fillmore Slim interview, man, and I love California as well as the world. But you know, I do a lot of that kind of studying, and I didn't know Fillmore Slim is in his 80s, and he born in Baton Rouge by midway what they call it, mid house or midway wife or however that is when you born in the crib. But
Midwife, yeah.
midwife,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So at that time, you know, all the paperwork and, you know, whatever the situation was, Baton Rouge is now the capital city of Louisiana, where New Orleans used to be. So, due to the books, you know, it's listed that Fillmore Slim is born in New Orleans. I always knew that, but he really born in Baton Rouge. So he described a lot about in his time, in the early 50s, it was still that slavery thing going on for us, the South, and different things like that. So I got the remnants of it. I'm born in 74. So different places, you know what I mean? And backwoods, you might not want to be between Louisiana and Mississippi.
Right.
So that's just on the black and white, let alone the hood division, man. Well, you know, we relate to California, Chicago, and other places that is gang dominated. We in the same sense is the same but different is more hood without the color red. You know what I mean? So me being born in South Baton Rouge came with a lot of things, you know, dope dealing and killing and hustling and, you know, whatever, what have we, as well as the rest of the city. So I grew up in that same origin. The one thing that kind of signified me and separated me is I had the rap dream to do something different that was all versus what was already there.
Right.
I had drug abuse and alcoholism in the family, so I never had to leave the house to get it off the playground or out the neighborhood. But once you stepped off the porch, you know what I mean, you went to that domain. I can remember days walking home from school in certain blocks and alleyways I didn't want to cut through. I knew certain guys waiting on that block just to be with that ruckus, man.
Right.
So that type of evolution, I evolved into rap about 9 years old in the 4th grade when Run DMC was coming up, and I had a poetry teacher came through and taught us how to write haiku poems, which come to our elementary school. And my poem made it as well as a lot of other students throughout the city to this poetry pamphlet that reached our state's capital. So I felt like if I could reach the state capital at 9 years old, then, you know, I might be destined to do this so far from New York and California with a hip hop dream. But mentioning that to talk about the first Run DMC tape that had a song, we know Hard Time, Rock Boxing, Sucker MCs and all that. But my joint that tapped me into it all the way was a song called Wake Up on that record. And I heard what they were saying and I looked at my environment and I wrote my poem that I put in that book was based off that Wake Up song. So the rest is history, you know what I mean? Yes, sir.
What was a day in the life of Young Bleed growing up in Louisiana?
Like I say, being born in 74, it looked like 100 years, 20 years. My granddad, I took my name from Bleed. You know, he was a World War II veteran, hell of a man in the streets of South Baton Rouge, so on and so forth. So at least the first 10 years of my life, you know, I come up like pretty much any other ghetto child, man, where I had the broken home syndrome. My mom might have separated from my pops between 6 and 7 years old, where she left for good. And that desolate time, I spent a lot of time with my granddad. I knew him for a little while before he eventually catch glaucoma and go blind. So my typical day, my grandmother went to work and she lived and died of age, you know, rest in peace, Ora Johnson. She'd get up 4, 5 in the morning, 3, start a coffee, whatever, and then she gone on off to, you know, work where she had to work. My granddaddy being a veteran and going blind, I was kind of his CNI watchdog. So, you know, let me go to school someday and someday they'll keep me right by his side. So our typical day began where it was a Italian family called it Caruso's that had a corner store on the end of the corner of McKinley and Highland Road. You know, I'm born Garfield Street. We call it G Block or G Street. But you know, eventually, you know, my family lived throughout the city in all places, so we was living on McKinley Street. And so, like I said, we'll wake up in the morning. My granddaddy with that veterans check, we going straight to the Caruso to get him 5 liquors, and I'm talking Thunderbird, White Pope, Old English before the Easy E, before the Keaton Tea, for that matter, the alcoholics.
Right.
And with a White Pope, Wild Irish Rose, you name it. He had 5 liquors, you know, potty meat, salt meat, and, you know, boiled peanuts, that type of thing, hog head cheese. So that was the longest walk in the world for me, because he was blind, you know what I mean? So I had to take my time. All he could do was sign his X on his check if he didn't send me to the corner store, and I had that kind of respect and privilege as a kid, whether he came with me or not. I could walk to the store before you could buy cigarettes and anything that was on that paper, that family, that get my family. So that'll be my typical day, rather school or not, and then after school, you know what I mean, the homework, and I'm on the street with my cousins and homeboys and stuff like that, little getting into other different things long before 10 years old. So when I look back, you know, beautiful life, a lot of love was there, you know, poverty and all that other kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But love is unconditional. But it was a joyful time, you know, a lot of times I wish those times, you know, you never growed up and all that, but yeah, pretty much like that, man. Everything else was evolution, you know what I mean?
During this time, how would you describe your character?
In one sense, in comparison, I'm the same but different, you know what I mean? I'm still in the same dream that I've been pursuing since I was 9 years old. So I'm still doing the same thing, but I didn't grow up into a man, a father, you know what I mean, a husband to that degree, and a grandfather. So, you know, I done watched the generations change by the decades from the 70s up until now. So here again, a fast life, but a beautiful life at the same token. I'm glad to be here and be able to see those type of things. So it made me the man that I, you know, hoped and wanted to be. You know, a long climb up that mountain. You know, I had no complaints. If I had to do it all over again, I'd keep it the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, you know, more now. Like I say, you know, as a baby, you still a child. You born, but you know, body stretch out and all that. I still kind of look the same.
Right.
Spit the same. They say black don't crack, man. So, you know, that's what's up with that. Yeah, man.
Cool.
What's up?